So at this point in the course, we're going to switch books for the rest of the semester, and we're using the one that has the cover that looks like that, and we're going to start in lesson 4. We're going to start with the multiplication and division, and the way this will work is each lesson has a bit of a lecture. Then I will go over some of the problems and the exercises, which each lesson has several different exercises with 1 to 6 or 8 problems in each exercise. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to go all the way through the book, skipping some chapters or some lessons here and there, and finishing out the semester with this particular book. So let's get rid of said book. And we're on page number 24. And this is called Multiplication and Division. And it goes through page 30. So pages 24 to 30. All right, so if you remember multiplication, that's just your simple, we've gone over this before in one of the previous lessons. When you're doing 3-digit times 2 digits, if you remember, 9 times 3 is 27, you carry the 2, 24, 26, carry the 2, 5, and then you remember when you multiply times the second, you put the first number under the second number, so it's in a column like this. So 9 times 2 is 18, we carry the 1, 8 times 2 is 16, 17. Carry the 1. 1 times 2 is 2, plus the 1 is 3. Then we add everything up. And we get 4,347 for an answer. So really that's not much to the multiplication, but sometimes the hard part is knowing when to multiply. So if you're looking on page 24, we've got 4 boxes, and each box has motor oil in it, and each box has 24 bottles. And we have 4 boxes. So if we have 4 boxes with 24, and we want to know the total number of bottles, we would take the 24 times the 4 boxes. So times is really a shortcut to addition. So if we have 4 boxes, it would be 24 plus 24 plus 24 plus 24, or 24 times however many boxes there are. So you would just multiply, and you'd end up with 96 boxes or bottles of motor oil. So it's the remembering what you're supposed to do, not necessarily how. And if you have not memorized your multiplication tables from 3rd grade, or if you have forgotten, that's always a good thing to do, because then you can do so much of the math in your head. All right, so what is division? Page number 25. Division is basically how many times one number goes into another number. So if we have 18 and we're dividing 2 into it, it's asking how many 2's are there in 18. And that would obviously be 9. Okay, so one of the questions students have is if I say 18 divided by 9, and I say that that's 2, well, how do I write it in this form with this handy dandy little sign there? Well, the first number, now let's get rid of this little sign here. The first number, 18, we write down first. Then we write down the division sign, which is this, and then we write that number. And where's the only other place for it to go? But right here. So this is not 9 divided by 18. You say the number in the sign first. Some of you call it a little house. I don't really care what you call it. Then the division sign, and then the last number. So that's the way to write this, just in case you're struggling here. All right, so I'll give you an example. On page number 25, we've got Ken. He works in the shipping department in this place. He reads orders. I don't really care what he does. Today, Ken has an order for 58 cords. Okay, so he can fit 6 cords in one box. All right, so the question is, how many boxes does he need for this order? We got 58 cords and we're trying to put them in boxes. Well, I can only fit 6 in each one. So if I've got one box, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, 60. So I've got 58 cords. Well, I've got to put 6 in each one of these. But the last one is not going to hold 6. It's only going to hold 4. But I still need that box. So it's going to take me, 10 boxes in order to put those 58 cables in. Or I could write 58, and I'm going to divide it by 6 cords in each box. And 6 goes into 5, 0, but 6 goes into 58 9 times. 9 times 6 is 54, with 4 left over. So I've got 9 boxes, and I've got 4 cords left over. Well, I'm going to need a 10th box in order to put those 4 cords in something. So that's what we're doing there. This is the kind of math that you're going to be doing in this lesson, which takes us to exercise number 1. All right, so Sierra's a teacher's aide in an elementary school. Sierra is supposed to order some art supplies. There's 32 kids in the class. So 32 kiddos. Each student needs 3 sheets of blue paper, 2 sheets of red, and 4 crayons. All right. How many sheets of blue paper, red paper, and crayons will she need to order? Well, let's look at the blue paper. Each kid needs 3. Well, there's 32 kids. In the red, the total number of crayons, okay. So how many need red paper? It would end up being 2 pieces of red paper per, or for 36 kids. So I'd take 2 times 32. And the same with crayons. I've got 4 crayons, 32 kids, 32 times 4. And then I go back and I can answer the questions. How many students need blue and red paper? The total number of crayons and sheets of blue paper and red paper needed. So you can just answer the questions according to what we've got written down there. So like number 2, how many sheets of blue paper does Sierra need? Well, she needs this many sheets of blue paper. And it gives you a multiple choice question there. So you would pick B as in boy for 96. So that's exercise 1. Exercise 2, Stacy works at Lady Lee Catering. She's got a work order that she needs, and we've got 50 guests. And I always find it easiest just to kind of write the numbers down here. She knows that round tables have seats for 8, and rectangle tables have seats for 6. How many people can sit at 3 round tables? Well, 8 can sit at 1, so 8 times 3 could sit at 3. So those are the kind of questions you've got there. Bumping up to exercise number 3, landscaping. Isaac works for a company. He and his boss, Carlos, will plant a row of flowers around 3 sides of a new square patio. So let's draw the patio here. And we're going to plant stuff around this side, and this side. 3 sides. They'll plant either small plants or large plants in each row. They can plant 15 small in each row, or 10, that doesn't look like small, does it? Or 10 large in each row. And you just go and answer the questions. So Isaac and Carlos want to plant 2 rows of small plants and 1 row of large plants. How many small plants will they use? Well, if it takes 15 small per each row, and we're talking 2 rows of small plants, so 15 and 15. And then we've got 1 row of large, which is 10 here. So that's what we're doing there for exercise 3. Let's jump up to number 4. So Arturo, that's an interesting name, owns a painting company. He and his workers are currently painting Ms. Carter's house. It will take 48 hours to paint the house. So 48 hours to paint the house. Each worker can work an 8-hour shift. So each worker is going to work 8 hours. Do we know how many workers there are? No, we have no idea. How can Arturo figure out how many workers he will need to paint the house in one day? So it's going to take 48 hours. Each worker is going to work 8 hours. So how many workers is that? Well, we've got 48 hours, and we're dividing that 48 hours up into 8 hours. So 48 divided by 8 is 6. So we'll need to hire 8 people. Number 3, each painter needs 12 gallons of paint. How many total gallons of paint will Arturo need to purchase? Well, if each of these workers needs 12 gallons, there we go. Okay. Arturo decides that he wants to hire extra painters. I'm looking at number 4 here. If he decides to double the number of painters, how many hours will each painter work to complete the project? Well, instead of needing 6 painters, he's going to hire 12. So instead of each painter working 8 hours, we're doubling the number of workers, so each painter would work 4 hours. We're doubling the number of painters, which means we take half the number of hours it would take. Okay, so exercise 5, and that. Then we've got exercise 6, and then we'll be done. All right, exercise 5. Carlton works at a pet supply store that sells rough dog food. He needs to use the information on the label to help his customer, Tina, decide if this is the right brand of dog food for her purchase for her medium-sized dog. So first of all, never buy dog food that's called rough. That's just kind of frightening even to say. So Tina wonders how much she should feed her dog. This is number 1 on page 29. Carlton tells her that she should feed her dog half the daily amount twice a day, which would give him the full amount once a day. How much should Tina feed her dog at each meal? Okay, so it's a medium-sized dog, so we're going to be looking at this. She needs to feed him 12 ounces per day. What does Carlos tell her? Half the daily amount twice a day. So how much should she feed him each time? Well, it'd be half of 12. Number 2, Tina wants to know how long this bag of food will last. Which of the following questions will help Carlton calculate how long the bag of food will last? How old is Tina's dog? Who cares? How expensive is the dog food? Don't know. How many ounces are in a pound? There are 16 ounces in 1 pound. And this bag of dog food is 15 pounds. So we would take 15 times 16 to find out how many total ounces there are. And then we would divide it by 12, and that would tell us how many meals, how many days that dog food will last. So C would be the correct answer for that one. So let's look at number 5. Carlton's stacking bags of rough dog food. He has 15 bags to a stack. So he's got, a whole stack of dog food here, 15. Each shelf can hold 50 pounds. How many shelves will he need to use? So he's got 15 bags, and each bag is 15 pounds. So how many pounds total would that be? It would be 15 pounds times 15 bags, which would be 225. See, if you knew your math multiplication tables, you'd be able to just do that in your head. But you're getting out a calculator, aren't you? That would be 225 pounds. Each shelf can hold 50. So 225 divided by 50 pounds per shelf, you divide that out, and that will tell you exactly how many shelves you'll need. 4.5. But can you ever have half a shelf? No. So you have to have 5 shelves. Okay, so last one we're going to look at would be exercise 6, and we're talking about health insurance here. So the thing about health insurance is that when one person has it, it costs a certain amount. When the husband and wife, or wife and husband have it, it goes up somewhat. It doesn't double, it just goes up a little bit. And then if you've got the employee, the spouse, and all the kiddos, then it goes up even more. So that's how much it's going to cost. So Billy has health insurance. He's been paying $162. He decides to get married. Health insurance goes up because his wife is going to have it at $218 a month. So let's look at number 1 here on page 30. How much did Billy pay for his insurance per year? Well, it's $162 a month, so it'd be 162 times 12. Then that would tell you how much he paid per year. Number 2, how much will it cost Billy to buy insurance for him and his wife for an entire year? $218 a month now times 12 months in a year. Billy's insurance is taken out of his paycheck. He gets paid twice a month. How much money is taken out of each paycheck to pay for the insurance for him and his wife? Well, it's $218 a month, and he gets paid twice. So we're going to take 218 and divide it by 2 because he's getting it taken out of his paycheck twice. So it's going to be $109 a month. So just some things to do in this lesson that gets you all the way through page number 30, and that is lesson number 4.